Good morning, YouTube. You see the title, and this is going to get deep. And as you come in the building, like, share, and subscribe to videos. We're going to talk about these cops in Memphis, right? Now, one thing about it, they felt bold enough to do what they did because Black lives don't matter. Black lives don't even matter to Black people. At some point in your mind, you see that Black people hate each other so much that are they even competent enough to police their own people? I mean, they're laughing and joking after they done beat the man and he's laying there dying. Now, we all have our opinion about the police. Me personally, I always felt like Black police officers were the lames in high school. They didn't like the cool kids. They didn't like the athletes. You know what I mean? They had issues. They was incels, manosphere type of guys or whatever. You know what I mean? But this level of disrespect, this level of not caring about Black people is ridiculous. You know, as you come into this room, like, share, and subscribe to the video because we got to look at this for what it is. Let's check it out, and we're gonna unpack it. Fair usage and for commentary. Let me go here because it's trending. It's everywhere. Let's go with this one first.
I think the ghost fucked my husband.
Excuse that. That's a commercial. I don't know about the ghost and the husband. Now look at this.
Bro, my shit been hurting all day, but when I seen that boy running, bro, that motherfucker ain't start hurting no more, bro. Yes, bro. Come on, over here. He hot. He hot as mother. Man, I was hitting him with straight movements, dog.
He was hitting it with straight haymakers. Now think about it. They laughing and joking. They laughing and joking while he laying on the ground. All right. Now you seen that. Then let's see exactly what they was laughing and joking about.
Now to that breaking news out of Memphis, where police have just released video of the beating of a man who died as police tried to take him into custody.
KTV's Christian Captain has been looking out over that video and joins us now live from the newsroom. Christian, we know that this video is graphic. In fact, officials who had previously seen the footage called it appalling. Tell us more about what it shows.
Yeah, certainly appalling, shocking. There are lots of words that you can use to describe this. That is exactly what we heard from Tyre Nichols' family and from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in anticipation of this video being released. And as expected, the video shows the brutal encounter as 5 Memphis police officers were trying to take Tyre Nichols into custody. And we want to warn viewers that the video is graphic. Now, the video that we are showing you first is a video at the second scene. This is after Nichols was initially pulled over. And in that video, you can see he was already on the ground after he was pulled over at that other location. The officers in the video repeatedly punch and kick Nichols over and over again in the video. At one point, you can see they stand him up, they hold his hands behind his back and begin punching and hitting him and wrestle him down to the ground again. At various points in time in the video, they also kick him. Now, body-worn camera of the same incident, we're able to actually hear what the officers are saying in that very scene that you are watching right there. Those officers repeatedly order Nichols to, quote, give them their hands. They pepper spray him, punch him, and kick him over and over again, wrestling his hands behind his back. Now, in an early earlier video, we saw police initially pull over Nichols. You can see in body cam video on that. We're reviewing that video right now where they pull Nichols over, and within seconds, they draw firearms and begin shouting at him to get out of his car and lie on the ground. At that initial scene, numerous officers wrestle him to the ground. At one point, Nichols says to the officers, "I am on the ground, and man, you guys are doing a lot." The officers then threaten to tase him, and at some point, Nichols breaks free and runs away from those 5 officers. One of the officers at that initial scene fires his taser at him. It's unclear if he strikes Nichols, who has broken away. The officers' demeanor change as they radio for backup and then discuss amongst themselves how Nichols got away. All of that, again, happening on the first 2 minutes of that body cam video. Now, we did hear from Nichols' mother earlier, who had asked for peace. As people see this video, she says that she knows it's going to be difficult to watch and that she did not watch it herself, but she is asking for justice for her son as people review this video for the first time.
And I want to say to the 5 police officers that murdered my son, you also disgraced your own families when you did this. But you know what? I'm going to pray for you and your families.
And again, we're going to give you a little context here. Again, this all started January 7th when police pulled Nichols over on suspicion of reckless driving at around 8:30 in the evening.
Reckless.
Police initially said that Nichols ran from that scene.
Now, how can you be arrested for suspicion of reckless driving? We think that you're driving reckless. I mean, this is deep because this is not you witnessing race soldiers and white cops beating a black man. This is 5 black men beating one 150-pound young brother to death. They have families. Ain't no telling what kind of families that they could possibly come from. What kind of parents raised them? What kind of individuals these had to be? It was 5 of them with guns, with tasers, with batons, beating a defenseless black man. And then they laugh and they joke about it. Look at him. This could be your son, your brother, your husband, your kid. I mean, for a long time we've been watching police brutality, and we know that there's a lot of black men on the police force. But what kind of black men are they? What kind of black man actually becomes an extension of white supremacy? What kind of black man actually wants to be a cop? You know what I mean? And I'm talking to the brothers that's, you know what I mean, real brothers. What kind of brother says, I want to be a police officer and police my people on behalf of the power structure and white supremacy? In the early part of the video, I showed you where they laughed and joked and talked about how they beat him. Talk about how they was giving him haymakers and how they was punching and how they was kicking. And they laughed about it. They didn't even care that they had body cams on. They didn't even care that it was being recorded. Black people hate black people. All you got to do is look at your social media. Look what comes down your line. All the little sneak disses. You know what I mean? Women dissing men, men dissing women. Black people, anything that is given to you through this system and this power structure, you weaponize it against your own people. You weaponize it. You know, these five brothers have disgraced not only themselves, not only their families, but they have disgraced black men. Because it shows in that video a level of brutality, a level of heinousness. Did you see the video? He's laying on the ground. They kicking him like they're kicking a football. They macing him and tasing him. These is 5 cops. They went through training. They went to school. They did all this so they could get on there and be on the force and take out their frustrations on what they lack in character, what they lack in their lives. And pay attention to about how you're watching it. And you see how the white media is talking about it. The white media is looking at it like, man, it's deeper than just, I mean, this racism goes deeper than color. They laughed. And then people are always talking about who's not protected in society. I'm going to tell you something for real, for real. And if you're a black man, you know this. We are the least protected. That's why we always leave the house on 10. That's why we always carry that stick, because we know we can go out there and get it from anywhere. We can get it from anywhere. And there's nobody. So people need to stop saying that women are the least protected in this society. That's a lie. And you know that's a lie. You know the most least protected person in the world is the black man in America. We've been that way since Emmett Till, since the times of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Y'all always want to say Martin Luther King died for something. Martin Luther King was murdered. Malcolm X was murdered. Medgar Evers, murdered. Noble Drew Ali, murdered. But you want to say that it's something else going on in this world other than the destruction of the black man. That's a lie. That's a false narrative. And what they just showed you and what they did in Memphis verifies it. They had no fear of consequences about what they were doing. They knew they had body cams on. They knew they was being recorded, while they laughed and talked about how hard they hit them. It's crazy. It's crazy. And to black men on the police force, who can trust y'all? Who can trust you, Toms? Who knows what's lurks in the back of your twisted mind? And y'all are the worst when it comes to hitting on married women, hitting on the nigga's woman. Y'all come for a domestic dispute, take the guy out the house and slip the woman your card and say, call me if you come back so you can get. I'm talking about, I know a bunch of piece of crap cops. We had one in our neighborhood, Jamie Abney, used to gamble with us and used to hang out with us and turned into a cop. And next thing you know, he running around the city snitching on the very guys that he used to be with, gamble with. If there is any good cops, where the hell are they? You tell me one. You tell me one. They don't never speak up. They don't never stop it. Why didn't no other cop jump in and stop it when they were stumping them and beating them on the ground? Because it was a black man that they was beating. They wouldn't have did no other race of man that brutally in this country. So when you look at who's not protected and who's not safe, brothers, y'all better defend yourselves. By any means, defend yourself. By any means necessary, like Malcolm X told you in 1965. When they come for you, don't think that they're coming for you to help or whatever, because who would have thought that these young black brothers on the police force was this ridiculous? We hope they get life and put them right in jail with the criminals and people that they've been messing over. But you know what they do? You know what these tough cops do whenever they go to jail? They get in protective custody. They go straight to protective custody. They volunteer to be locked in a cell for 23 hours a day because they're cowards. None of them go to general population. None of them walk the yard with the men that they dogged out. They run and hide. If black people are going to have some protection, it is going to have to come from the brothers, men like the FOI, men in the Moore Science Temple. It's not going to come from this white power structure. They are not going to equip or teach anybody that works for them to preserve our lives. So if nobody else is going to stand up for us and protect us, we need to stand up and protect ourselves. Period. Period. You know, they don't mind the gang violence in Chicago because those blickies is turned on other brothers. What happens? But what does this world look like when the black man starts to point that weapon at the real enemy? When he hit the real enemy with them switches, when he come out against the real enemy with that Drago. You remember in the summer in Detroit, when the young brother opened up on the cops with that Drago. Everybody was so outraged that he would do something like that. But look at what the cops do. Who are they? That their lives should mean anything in the black community. What does it mean? What does it really mean to be a black man in America? What does it look like when you get in your car and drive to work and you got to watch that rearview mirror all the way to work and all the way home? When you got to pump your gas with the stick in your hand. When everywhere you go, you looking over your shoulders. You see, we got to stop. We got to stop with these gender politics, and we got to stop playing, because the more that we are divided, the more brutal and the more harsher consequences come down. Look at the situation with Section 8 and all these people that's going to be homeless. Who you think they give Section 8 to? They ain't giving it to the brothers. This is an all-out attack on us as a people. They're attacking our children. They're attacking our women. They're attacking us. And it's all systemic. It's all directly tied to slavery, oppression, Jim Crow, ignorance, and rebellion against God. See, I'm gonna bring God into it because you got a lot of black people that's Christians. Everything the Bible says do, you do the opposite. If God said, let the man be the head, you say, no, God, that nigga don't know nothing. White man, he gave me a job and put me in position, so I should run the community. I'm the prize. Don't you realize that ever since slavery, Master kept you close to use you to help destroy the black community? To teach, you teach your sons Christianity, to turn the other cheek. If somebody take your coat, to give another coat. You teach them everything the enemy wants a slave to know. You reinforce it. You reinforce it. And the more we see of this violence against black men, I'm telling you, black men, man, we ain't got no friends out here. None. If y'all gonna protect anything in this country, black men, protect each other. That's why I respect the gangs. I respect O Block. I respect 63rd. I respect their crews. Because one thing about it, they protect each other and they living and dying with each other. Because it's like Pac say, fuck the world. Because they'll take you out with no problem and they'll sit up and laugh like these cops did. They'll sit up and talk about how you wasn't shit. Or if they want to say something good, they'll say you accepted Christ at Little Rock Baptist Church at the age of such and such and such, and you went to Cooley High School and blah, 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 and then throw you in a patch of dirt. Or they done got so cheap now, they don't bury you, they cremate you and put you in a jar and they keep you at somebody else's raggedy ass house. In Detroit, they got people ashes sitting up in trap houses. You walk in there and everybody in there smoking crack, and you ask, what's in that jar? Oh, that's the ashes of so and so and blase split. As people, we sick. We sick. You can't go through your timeline, everybody twerking, everybody saying something ridiculous until they get pulled over. And then the same person be slick dissing and talking crap. You'll see when something happening. Pray for my family. I just took a loss. Everybody's taking a loss. Get in where you fit in. Because I'm not out here talking about, I don't feel protected and I don't feel respected. Because guess what? You're going to respect Dre. And Dre going to protect himself. Because you disrespect me or whatever, I'm going to get down. I'm going to go for what I know. Straight up. I'm going to up it. I'm going to up it. I'm going to get down first. I'm going to up it. I'm going to get down first. Not going to hold you up. My life is an exchange for yours. And that's how we got to think as Black people. My life in exchange for yours. You know, when we was kids and our parents used to say, you know, you got to bring your ass to get ass. Well, you got to bring your ass to get some ass around this bitch. Because this was ridiculous and it happened so much. They just caught it on tape. They just caught it on tape. Who trusts the police? You got a cop in your family? What is he thinking? What would he have done? What would your little Black boy son police cop, what would he have done? Would he jumped in and stopped the other cops? Let's see some more of this.
About, quote, shortness of breath. 3 days later,
Look at
the
these
Tennessee Bureau
Negroes.
of Investigation said that Nichols had died by last Sunday. Memphis police said an internal investigation was underway. And then last Friday, Memphis PD said its officers had violated policy and fired all 5 officers involved. Those 5 officers were arrested yesterday and charged with second-degree murder. Now, some cities here in the Bay Area are already preparing for the possibility of protests. In the last 2 days, I've had discussions with San Francisco police officers and with sheriff's deputies who all say they are on alert. In San Francisco, you can see them there, barricades around San Francisco's Hall of Justice with a narrow gap to limit how many people can approach the building at one time. Now, we also...
I don't want you to look at these fat cops as Black men because they're not Black men. No Black man would sit there and beat that boy the way they beat that boy for no reason. They don't even know him. They're just kicking him. Who raised them? This outrage should be directed at the people directly responsible. The person that, like Malcolm X said, that taught you to hate yourself. The person who taught you that your lives don't matter. This is deep. This is deep. This is deep. And it's going viral. It's going to continue to go viral. But the issue that I really want to dwell on is that as Black people, we are so divided. And I'm going to tell you something. This shows you how much you're not protected. Period. No Black person is protected. Everything is a mind game. This is why your talk show host going to be Tamron Hall, because she's married to a white man. Sherry Shepherd, because she done been through bad divorces. She can't. Everything that they do is to undermine the character of the Black man. He's the only threat to white supremacy. The woman's not. She showed that she'll work in their office. She showed that she'll jump for biscuits. She showed that she'll sell the whole community out for a privilege. Every time they say, we won't, you see what they said to Ice Cube. He said, I'm trying to get something for black people. And Vivica Fox and them said, is there anything for black women in here? And he said, ain't black women black people? They said, no. We're a different class. What class is you? Because if you think that Joe Biden and white America really cares whether you live or die in this country, then you delusional. You delusional. You delusional. Let something happen and you call the police with them purge laws. They're going to lock the gap and they're going to let them right back out with these purge laws. It's time to wake up. United we stand, divided we fall. Don't you understand that? And every brother ain't a brother because of skin color. Those Negroes that did that, what kind of parents, what kind of families do they come from? When you watch the video, they holding him up, punching him so hard that they broke his neck, kicking him so hard. What is these little fat, little black, little suckers down there in Memphis talking about? You country niggas is sickening. Down there with your YSL, everybody snitching on Thug. Down there in Texas with your J Princes, taxing and setting up Takeoff and Offset, and you know what I mean? Y'all ridiculous. You'll sell out for anything. Anything. The outrage should be at the community. The outrage should be at these pastors that take y'all money and don't do nothing in the community, don't speak against nothing. Y'all want to talk about defund the police? The first thing you need to do is defund that church. Defund those Christians, those so-called black male Christians who ain't nothing but pimps. Defund them. If you defund them, that'll leave more money in the community, and it'll stop the promulgation of lies and deceit and white supremacy. TD Jakes teach white supremacy. Creflo teach white supremacy. Bishop Lamar, white supremacy. Eddie Long with the rest, they taught something totally different. You know what they taught? They taught how the Greeks get down. If you want to be outraged at the black community. Because the enemy has been the enemy all the time. You can't be mad at the enemy for being the enemy. He ain't never said he was your friend. He don't even think you're entitled to reparations. After 400 years of oppression, another 100 years of Jim Crow, he don't think you need reparations. You need reparations just for the psychological, genetic trauma that has you so disorientated that you hate yourself every time you see somebody that look like you. That's a direct result from slavery. And I'm gonna tell you something. As I said in one of the other videos, the black man in America has the same enemies that God has and Allah has, because the black man is the original man. He is the man created in the image and likeness of God. And because he's fallen, everybody wants to kick him. What happens when we get back up? Sounding out of Detroit. Peace. Keep your head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe.